I would like to invite everyone to think and recall. Have you ever been stuck in the middle of a problem and can't seem to figure out why all the clues lead back to you? Everyone's glaring at you, and no matter who's pointing, it feels like every single finger is pointing right at you. Maybe you didn't mean what you did, that your actual intentions were opposite to what people interpreted. But based on how most people are responding to your actions, the odds of them getting the idea that you had good intentions are very low. So then you'll reflect. You'll think, what did I do wrong? What was my mistake? But are you sure you're reflecting without bias? That you see your own flaws and are willing to be accountable over it? That you're able to say the two words? We'll get to that in a moment later. Now I would like to invite everyone to play a quick game. I will give you 3 questions, I will show you the options, and then I will give you the correct answer. Can I have a nod if you understand? All right, so let's move on to our first question. 3 departments share a single older printer. It breaks down constantly. Everyone is frustrated, but no one wants to take the time to fix it or find a new one, as they all blame the others for abusing it. Who do you think here is responsible for fixing the printer? Option 1, is it the one who uses it the most? Is it the one who takes care of office facilities? Or is it the one who found it broken? Okay, do we already have an answer? All right. Our correct answer is the one who found it broken. Okay, now hold on before you attack me. Let's move on to our second question. An employee fails to meet performance goals due to a private health issue they have not disclosed. You are their manager, but they are highly valued for their past work, and you have to keep that in mind. The company has strict performance policies and require termination. What are you going to do about that employee? Are you going to fire the employee? Or are you going to keep that employee? Okay. The correct answer is to fire that employee. Obvious, right? Okay. Now, this brings us to our final question. A project manager, eager to meet a tight deadline and earn a bonus, pushes their team to skip the final quality control check and just do it, just release it, believing that the product is good enough. So then the product is released, it works fine for a month, and then it breaks down. This client is significantly damaged, but the project manager didn't intend for it to fail. He just wants to save time. So whose fault is it? Is it the manager or is it the team? Okay, I heard some answers in the crowd. The answer is the team. Now, don't we all love surprises? In fact, I held a qualitative survey with the exact 3 questions. After answering, respondents are able to defend their answer if they answer it wrong, or they can choose to just leave it blank, to say, yeah, I agree with whatever is written to be correct. So let's go over the results. Here behind me is a bar graph that shows the respondents who answered the questions incorrectly. It's split into 2 different colors. One of them is the people who defended their answer. One of them is the people who did not defend their answer. And what's shown in the graph is that 92% chose to defend their answer to question 1, 23% to question 2, and 61% to question 3. Overall, this seems like a huge chunk out of the graph. Am I right? That's because it's true. Most of the respondents, I could say, they're not satisfied that the answer key, it doesn't align with their personal decision to these scenarios. Well, if you've done my survey before, I'm sorry to break it to you, but there is actually no correct answer. Here, we're hit with the idea that a decision is just a decision. Nothing right, nothing wrong, just which decision seems more ethical. And society decides that if you choose the unethical decision, then you're incorrect. But this experiment, it doesn't judge people based on which option they chose, but whether or not they chose to defend their answer, even after being told that they were incorrect. Again, it wasn't wrong that the respondents chose to defend their answer because they were given the choice to. And this is a natural occurrence. But using this as an analogy of real-life conflicts, now we know why asking for empathy or no misunderstanding at all is impossible. In the end, we always come back to the phrase, agree to disagree. But why? The correct answers to my experiment were designed to be an illusion, to make the respondents think, to make the audience think, to make yourself think whether you were right or you were wrong, which is exactly what we come across in everyday life. The reason why we have different opinions, as so said by the ethics organization, is because of our different personal upbringings, personal experiences, and the specific information that we have access to. What does that include? That includes our backgrounds, like our cultures and traditions. Yeah, a 5-year-old can tell you all the things that makes us different from one another. But the reason why it's relatively hard to agree with someone else's opinion instead of sticking with that of our own is because our brain takes a personal, challenged belief as a physical threat. This concept, supported by a post by UConn, tells us that it's rooted in neurological mechanisms protecting our self-concept and cognitive stability. Our brain, our friend up here, it just works that way, part by part. Because this process of self-defense is scientifically our body's way to survive. So let's get to know about the brain a little bit more. A part of the brain called the anterior insula is supposedly responsible for empathy. And guess what? In a conflict, the anterior insula says, I'm gonna take a rest. I'm gonna take a break. It decides to reduce its activity. It decides to reduce empathy. Our amygdala, which stores deeply held beliefs, will feel threatened in a conflict. It'll feel triggered to do a fight or flight response, which causes us to defend our personal claims even more boldly, or spark a fire, causing us to attack another person's opinion. Hence, it's safe to conclude that not being able to agree with someone else, feeling defensive, that's natural, that's humane, that's just how we work. But then again, as intelligent beings, we need to know when is it time to stop. Because even though what we felt or whatever has happened is out of our control, it's not controllable. How we react to future contradicting responses or contradicting opinions is entirely within our control. In most scenarios, a conflict is inevitable, whether it's verbal, like, I think green is better than pink, or I think pink is better than green. Or if it's physical, like we're ready to fight someone. If it's violent or non-violent, and reflecting our actions in the middle of a fight is a measure quite irrational. No one does that. Can I have a raise of hands who does that? Absolutely, there's no one raising their hand. And in the end, nevertheless, after all what's happened, your actions are determined the line between people with integrity, and if you think you have integrity, Then hypocrisy, given that we'd expect to be treated with an apology by the other person in a different scenario where the positions are switched, where the other person is wrong. We'd expect an apology. Am I right? Now this line, the fence, the boundary, it arises from a singular point. A point that comes in the form of a question. What conclusion did you draw after reflecting on your actions? Now this is the hardest part. It feels like everything you've worked for, it feels like the self you've spent eons building a perfect image of. It needs to be thrown away. It needs to be scrapped just to say 2 words. I'm sorry. If you were able to overdrive your embedded system of self-defense in a conflict, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't make you less of a person. It actually, but silently, makes you more of a person. To be able to accept that you have flaws, to be able to accept your wrongdoings, not because you meant it, but because you're human. To be able to accept your mistakes and to be able to be held accountable. Now, hold on before you start apologizing to everyone for every single little thing, because I'm not trying to develop a sorry syndrome. Being accountable means that you are able to live up to the consequences of your wrongdoings when you are actually wrong. So the first step into mastering this giant, big word, accountability, is thinking it's okay to be wrong. It's okay that sometimes you forget someone's birthday. It's okay that sometimes you forget your best friend's favorite music artist. And second, take those mistakes, make it a part of yourself, like how you would take all the good decisions and make that a part of yourself too. And I'm not gonna say it's easy. I am, without a doubt, working on this as well, and I can't say that I'm even close to mastering the word accountability yet. So I would like to bring us all together. One last time, I would invite you to think and recall this final personal question. Don't you think you have someone to apologize to? After all that's said and done, maybe a specific name is coming up at the back of your mind. And that'll be all for me today. Thank you.